border situation over there in England, and basically the guys would come, and whoever spoke out against the government or spoke out against the guy, I believe his name was McCready, the main Nazi Hitler-like guy that was in the movie, basically uh, they would come and black bag you and ship you off to a concentration camp off in the middle of the night. All right, and you'd never to be heard from again. So what you're seeing in these movies with you being carted off and taken to a concentration camp, taken to detention centers, taken without anybody knowing, and now they're saying that you can't even, which we're going to read here in this article, saying that you can't even have a lawyer to basically plead your cause, and they don't even have to try you. You can just be suspected of terrorist. Hey, it shows you Esau's about to make his move, man. All that stuff that they're putting in the movies is now about to be a reality. Okay, so now let's read through this article, because this is pretty much what they were talking about in the video. It says here, this is on the ACLU, or American Civil Liberties Union blog of rights. It says senators demand the military lock up of American citizens in a battlefield they define as being right outside your window. And then that senator they put up with his quote say that the battlefield is not just out in the Middle East. I'm not quoting him verbatim, but he said it's also right here in the homeland. Alright, that's what's right outside your window. So American citizens are now being declared terrorists. Alright, and you believe you me, with legislation they got on the back burner, like Project Megiddo, which they define so-called black Hebrew Israelites as terrorists. Believe you me, they're gonna wiggle something in here to where they declare that they're really gonna come after Israelites. So the so-called Negroes, West Indians, Mexicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, alright, Native Americans, alright, and on down the line, all the tribes they're going to define as terrorists and really come after the tribes. And it just so happened that, in the past, was it last week or the week before, they had this guy who was suspected, I guess he fired some rounds off at the White House, and it was an Issachar with a big beard, alright, and he had Israel tattooed on his neck. So that could have very well been a ploy to lead up to an excuse to come after us. And this, what you're seeing on the screen, is just part of it. Okay, it's another part of it. So let's read, and it's here. While nearly all Americans head to family and friends to celebrate Thanksgiving, the Senate is gearing up for a vote on Monday or Tuesday that goes to the very heart of who we are as Americans. So this was what let me scroll up real quick, see what the date is on this. November 23rd. So this was just before Thanksgiving. Okay, it's the day before. All right. So while everybody was going off to celebrate and eat turkey and watch the game and talk shit to their families, especially Jake, especially niggas, this is what Esau was up to. It says the Senate will be voting on a bill that would direct American military resources not at enemy shooting at our military, citizens, and other civilians far from any battlefield, even people in the United States itself. Senators need to hear from you on whether you think your front yard is part of a battlefield, and if any president can send military anywhere in the world to imprison civilians without charge or trial. The Senate is going to vote on whether Congress will give this president and every future president the power to order the military to pick up and imprison without charge or trial civilians anywhere in the world. Hey, it says civilians anywhere in the world, and the President of the United States will be given that power. So what does that show you? That shows you that according to, let me just grab the scripture real quick. It's in, I believe, Jeremiah 50 or 51. It shows you, I mean, people say all the BS that they want to say about the Bible. The Bible is true. The Bible ain't telling no tales. The Bible is 100% true. Okay? Now, let me get the scripture real quick. Jeremiah 50 verse 23. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? And how is Babylon become a desolation amongst the nations? Alright, now, why does it compare the hammer of the whole earth to Babylon, because they're the same. All right, who is the only country on the earth that goes around the whole world and enforces the elite's policy and the elite's instructions through the sword, through military violence, all right, through war? It's America. All right, and so this is further proof in this article that America is that country and is that hammer mentioned in Jeremiah 50 and 23. All right, it says here, even Rep Ron Paul, or Republican Ron Paul of Texas, raised his concerns about the NDAA detention provisions during last night's Republican debate. The power is so broad that even U.S. citizens could be swept up by the military, and the military could be used far from any battlefield, even within the United States itself. So look, they're coming. You people that like to talk your mess and gainsay and come up against us on YouTube with your comments and mock and scoff and run your mouth and basically be keyboard Vikings. Guess what? This stuff that the so-called white man, the government, is setting up, he's gonna come down on you, and you ain't gonna be laughing when that time comes. All right. So let's scroll down. It says here, the worldwide indefinite detention without charge or trial provision is in Senate Bill. That's what the S stands for. Senate Bill number 1867, the National Defense Authorization Act bill, which will be on the Senate floor on Monday. The bill was drafted in secret by Senators Carl Levin, Democrat of Michigan, and John McCain, a Republican of Arizona. That's what you just saw in the video. And passed in a closed-door committee meeting without even a single hearing. So they did this. It's funny how the so-called white man, these so-called leaders, set all these things up, because they always do when it comes to passing certain legislation. All right, for example, the Patriot Act. When they passed the first Patriot Act, it was during Christmas, and there were all the congressmen and senators and all the people were out on vacation, and there was only a few got together and passed this, what was it, 1,000-page bill known as the Patriot Act, with all those details on how they declare the American citizens to be terrorists, and how they plan on coming down on American terrorists, and what they define as terrorism, and who they define as terrorism. So it's no coincidence that here, right the day before Thanksgiving, this article comes out on how during Thanksgiving, while people are out eating turkey and watching the game and being clowns, all right, and getting drunk, whatever they're doing during Thanksgiving vacation, these people are making power moves and setting up their chess pieces, all right, so they can come down on the American citizens, in particular the nation of Israel, the true nation of Israel. All right, so look, like I say again, all you people who want to sit there and run your mouth, guess what? When the time comes, you're gonna get caught up in this. And the same people, the same prophets, the same men of the Lord who you've been making fun of, guess what? You're gonna be looking for them in that day, and they ain't gonna be nowhere around. All right. So now let's keep reading. It says, I know it sounds incredible. New powers to use the military worldwide, even within the United States. Hasn't anyone told the Senate that Osama bin Laden is dead, in which he supposedly died just months ago, which was BS? That the president is pulling all the combat troops out of Iraq, and trying to figure out how to get combat troops out of Afghanistan too, and American citizens and people picked up on an American or Canadian or British streets being sent to military prisons indefinitely without even being charged with a crime? Really? Does anyone think this is a good idea? And why now? The answer on why now is nothing more than election season politics. The White House, the Secretary of Defense, and the Attorney General all have said that the indefinite detention provisions in the National Defense Authorization Act are harmful and counterproductive. The White House has even threatened a veto, but Senate politics has propelled this bad legislation to the Senate floor. All right, and pretty much you can read the rest for yourself. So that's pretty much the point I got on this article, and I'll try to remember to put the link up